Hi lovely people, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel if you're a returning viewer. Welcome if you are new here. You're joining me for the adventures of Yarnia. I decided to film an update a little sooner than I would normally have done, 6 months, because I had a couple of finished... Do socks count as 2 finished things or 1?
When you need colour, when you need light, when you need a rainbow shining bright, when it's overwhelming with all of your to-dos, go grab a sticker, it'll help you through. Get it from EllieBeth Designs, EllieBeth Designs, EllieBeth Designs, EllieBeth Designs, brighten up every day. EllieBeth Designs, EllieBeth Designs, EllieBeth Designs, EllieBeth Designs, brighten up every day.
Hopefully you've grabbed yourself a brew. I've got some coffee in my calm mug over there, which is the perfect word I think for this week in the few days before Christmas. And I have my basket with what I've been working on and my finished objects. I'm totally classing socks as being 2 finished objects, and I've got a couple of incoming things to share with you and a few ideas about what I'm going to do in 2021 for my craft planning and tracking and things. So hope you enjoy spending a little bit of time with me, and I think we shall jump straight into my finished pair of socks. So last time I shared with you the Fireside socks that I was making. These are from a sock tube that I bought from Pixie Yarns, and they came with 2 contrasting minis, and I've used the red one, and I've just gone in and added afterthought cuffs, heels and toes. And don't look too closely at the toes because I messed up on them. I managed to make one longer than the other one, but it's alright because I compensated on the heel. But yeah, those are my finished socks. I finished them yesterday and I'm really pleased with them. They are very long. They do come up quite far up my leg, and I haven't got a pair of socks that are this long, not hand knitted anyway, so they're going to be super snuggly and perfect for the cold winter weather. I did an afterthought umbrella, heel and toe, which is by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and I just did a 2x2 cuff, and then it was Jenny's very stretchy bind off that I used, because especially given how far up my calf they come, I definitely need the extra stretch. And I just did 15 rounds on the cuff, which is what I normally like for my socks. I think if I'd done any longer, they would have been knee socks. So these have had a wash and a block, and let me just give you a little close-up on that yarn. The colours in it are beautiful. I spoke last time about the speckles not being evenly distributed, and you can see exactly what I mean from that, and that I wished I thought a little bit more about where I cut into the sock tube. But I did manage to match the top of the feet fairly well, and given that's the bit that I look at when I'm wearing socks, that's fine by me. So those are my Fireside socks, just in time for Christmas, and it does mean I don't have any socks on the go at the moment, which is good because I have plans for socks next year. So pop those to one side. So the only 2 projects, I say only 2, obviously has been those, but the 2 projects that I've made progress on or been working on since I last spoke to you are my Harry Potter blanket club blanket and my Quest Advent shawl. Scarf even, I'm doing it as a scarf. I have done some on my crochet granny stripe as well, but not very much because I've only been doing it when I've been teaching, so it's not really worth showing you, you know, 3 rows. So let's start with the Harry Potter blanket club blanket. This is the Nora George Yarns club that comes each month. I showed you last time the December set of mini skeins and the November set of mini skeins, which I still have not broken into because I'm not quite there yet. But what I have got so far is I am working on the October set of skeins, and let me just turn this, excuse the ends. Most of them get woven in as you add more squares. But you can see there I'm on my 6th square of 9 for this large square. And I don't know if you remember me saying about the blue and yellow that I thought was going to micro stripe a bit. And it has a little bit, I was right. So it's kind of got a little bit of pooling and then striping. And I think that's just come out really, really pretty. So I have just got to finish off the garnet kind of coloured one, and then there'll be a yellow one here, a green one here, and a blue one of these ones here, if you see what I mean. And then add the border, and here's one I made earlier, and this is what the squares come out like once they're all done. So we have the 9 little mitered squares and then a crocheted linen stitch border. Something odd's happened to that one. I shall have to finagle it to get it back where it's supposed to be. There we go, that's better. So this was the August, possibly, or July, August. I think it was the August set of colours. I can't quite remember. But yeah, so that's been getting a little bit of work on it. But yeah, just a few squares, pardon me, added. But the main thing, oh, I've left out all my mini skeins. Oops, let me put those away. And I'm going to be carrying on with this next year, definitely. I'm really enjoying just working on those little squares because you feel like you've achieved something quite quickly with them. But the thing that's been getting the most attention is in my Christmas project bag, and it's from the Nora George Yarns advent calendar, and one of the little extras in it was this Yarnia badge, which is just so cute. Love it. And it is the Quest shawl wrap scarf. I'm doing it as a scarf, and I talked a bit about this last time. It is by, she says, Rye Flower Knits. Let me find the front page. Here we go. I'm using dodgy stickers, the ones that misprinted, and then I end up with scrap paper, and then I just use it for this, for printing patterns on. So yeah, so it's a Rye Flower adventure, and it is just called the Quest, and it has this kind of choose your own adventure style to it, whereby you have a little bit of story, and then you roll a dice to see if you win or lose the battle and whether you are going to be able, which section you then do next. So it's quite fun. So let's see. Hey, look at this. Check it out. It's got really long, or it's getting longer. So I think I might have shown it you when I was down here somewhere. And now I'm all the way up here. And you can see there's a lot of lace and things going on in it, which are going to be beautiful when they are blocked, when it's blocked. I have been changing a couple of things. So it has brioche sections for the colour changes, and I did the first one down here, and look at that, I'm so proud of my little self for managing to do it. And then I had a go at Fisherman's Rib for a bit, but it all went a bit wrong. So I have gone back to doing the brioche, and actually having got my head around how it's working and why I'm doing things the way that it says to do it, I am finding it much easier. Let me find you, I think my favourite transition is probably this one here, between this sort of the deep cranberry colour and into that kind of really speckly one. So I'm going to show you that. It's so cool how it works. I'm like, wow, so much fun. I have added in a stitch pattern which is not in the actual pattern, which is this one here. This is actually a stitch pattern that was in the Dust of Snow wrap by Helen Stewart, and I just wanted a stitch pattern in there that was just dead straightforward and easy, and I didn't have to think about too much. So I did add that in, and I think, did I add another one in? I've written it out but I haven't used it yet. And it was just because the stitch patterns for this they are beautiful, but when you don't know what you're aiming for it to look like, it's quite tricky, because I've got to the point now that I can read the chart rather than reading the line by line instructions, so I'm quite pleased myself about that. But it is a bit tricky, especially if I'm knitting in the evening, to keep it going and to keep, you know, not making any mistakes. So I have put in a couple of extra little stitch patterns. So last week on Monday, no, week before last, I was here where my little snowman is. Look at my little snowman stitch marker. He is from Coru Clay Studios. And then last week on Monday, I got to the Santa hat, and I need to put another one in for this week. So last week, what did I do? I did 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. I've done 1, 2, I've only done 3 sections this week, so I've not done so much, but I've not had quite as much knitting time. Oh, and the week before I'd woken up dead early in the morning and spent 2 hours knitting before 6 o'clock in the morning. I also really like this bit with this cable here. So that was another new thing for me to do, to try these little cables that are running up there. I have done cables before, but never really liked them, but I really like how this came out. And it's lovely, because the more I look at it, the more I kind of go, oh, it's so pretty. I just really like it. So yeah, and I know that I've messed up on a couple of sections, but again, it's a scarf, it doesn't matter. The colours in the advent calendar are absolutely beautiful, and you can see the new colour coming in there. If I just squash the brioche together, you can see what's coming in there. And whilst they, as I said that last time, I think I said that, you know, they're not a gradient as such, or a fade, but they do work moving from one to the other, because there's speckles and things that kind of carry on through. So I am on section 11 of 25. Now I know that I'm going to have 24 mini skeins, and there's one that in the run of colours that just sticks out a little bit to my mind or to my eye, so I may leave that out. So I may only do 23 sections or something. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yes, really enjoying it still. The aspect of, you know, rolling a dice to see what you're going to knit next is very, very fun. And that has been getting pretty much all of my knitting time, because you have to count. So there we go. So that is that. The Quest Shawl by Rye Flower Knits. Let me tuck that away. Okay. And I expect I will finish that sometime in January, hopefully. So, you know, I've kind of really taken the pressure off with it having to be an advent knit now. So a couple of more little things just to share with you. Next year I'm sort of planning a year of socks and blankets, because those are my favourite things to knit. I like doing those, or to crochet. I love crocheting blankets. I love knitting socks. It's my comfort crafting, I suppose. And I obviously have my Harry Potter blanket on the go, and I have my crochet granny stripe, and I am probably going to do, well no, I am going to do the Attic 24 Meadow crochet along blanket that starts in January. So exciting. So that's kind of 3 blankets, and I kind of figured that why not just throw one more in. So I decided to join in with the rainbow along that Kelly at Lay Family Yarn is going to be doing. And I have some yarn to show you. I don't think I showed this last time. I'm pretty certain I didn't. But each month, or did I? Maybe I did talk about this. If I did and I'm repeating myself, I'm very sorry, but it's pretty yarn and I want to show you again. So I have the January, sorry for the crinkling, January colour pack from Kelly. And I have the February pack as well. So just hold that so you can see the label. So Lay Family Yarn, and there's the colours. Aren't they glorious? And I was debating what sort of blanket to do because I thought I don't really want to do another granny stripe. I know that I don't want to knit a blanket in stripes. That just doesn't appeal to me at all. You know, I've got socks for going round and round and round in nice easy garter stitch. So, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try crocheting a corner to corner blanket, because I think that'll be quite fun initially because it'll grow quickly, or it will appear to grow quickly. And I'll know that, you know, you go halfway and then you start decreasing. So I think that'll be quite nice. So I'm going to do that with those packs. I still haven't decided whether I want to hold the yarn double with something like a neutral background, or whether I just want to do it as a fingering weight blanket. I need to have a think about that. And I want to as well have a look at some that other people have made on Ravelry and just have a look at what quantity of yarn they've used, because obviously I've got 100 grams, which is about 400 yards, 400 meters, 400 yards, whatever it is, in fingering weight. So that's going to be 1200 grams for the year once I get the other packs, which I think are the 6th of every month that she releases them, and they'll move through the rainbow, so through the colours. Yeah, so I just need to have a look at what size blanket that's going to make and what weight is going to be best and hook size and stuff. So, but I think that'll be really fun to do, because my crochet granny stripe is not going to be finished anytime desperately soon. And I really just don't want another granny stripe on the go. So, but I thought a corner to corner could be quite nice. And then the other thing that I thought I would do is to work my way through some of my sock yarn stash. And in fact, I'm going to go and grab what I'm planning to use next year. Okay, I've got my basket of sock yarn. So I had, and I'm going to actually probably put it in here, move you. So I wanted to do the rainbow along for the socks as well, which is, I think, So Sweet Violet is helping out with that as well, as hosting that with Kelly. That's Jules, who is the sweetest soul that you will ever watch on YouTube. She is really gentle and lovely, and it's such a privilege, I think, when anybody ever puts anything on YouTube, for you to go and have a peek into their life. Yeah, so she's just lovely. Go and check her out. So I've got myself striping, which I'm going to put to one side just for now. And I've got a skein of Christmas yarn, which I'm also just going to put to one side. And then I have picked out, I tried to pick out 12. And I think I ended up with about 18. Because I wanted to try and do, like, you know, the pink socks for January, the red socks for February, and so on. And then add in a few colours for the extra bits of the rainbow, for the extra months that you've got. But I found that there's just too much lovely yarn that I wanted to use. So let me show you what I've been picking out anyway. And this is all going to be socks next year. I say it's going to be next year, we'll see. They may come in as a very short socks. I have this from Giddy Ant Yarns, which was their Flower Power Fund, the Rose collection. And I thought this would make a lovely pair of stripy socks or sampler socks. So I've got that one. Then I pulled out, oh, that's going to be there, isn't it? Then I pulled this out, which is another Lay Family Yarn, vintage fabric sock set. So pretty. Look at the speckly bits in it. Just glorious. I have this from Nora George, which is called Marsh Cinquefoil. Cinquefoil? It's a flower anyway. And since it says March on it, I thought that would be brilliant for March socks. I should point out, I don't think I've ever made a pair of socks in a month, so this is going to take some doing. I have Holyrood, another Nora George, which again is just beautiful. So that's kind of the yellows. I really liked this as well, which is called Perfect Posy from Lay Family Yarn, another sock set. So I really like getting sock sets because then you've got your contrast then, haven't you? I pulled out a, oh, I can't even remember what this one's called. Let's have a see. Ah, Lucy Pevensey, so a Yarnia reference. It's a messy cake, but never mind. So that's another Nora George. I was thinking that from a green, and I've got a little mini that I got somewhere, couldn't tell you where, that I thought would go with it as a contrast. I have Ginny Weasley. How gorgeous is that? Her speckles. Oh my gosh, the speckles. For kind of coming into summer. And then I had Old Lang Syne, which obviously is totally unseasonal, but it's bluey greeny. And that's a pixie yarn. I have this, I feel really bad showing you all this yarn, you know, because I have so much. But it makes me very happy to go and squish it. And this is also why I want to try and, you know, use some of it next year. I have this from the Kelly Lay Family Yarn, vintage china, another sock set, and again the speckles in it. It's gorgeous. I think I worked out that was going to be about September, which is just lovely. Stepping out of the rainbow a little bit, but feeling very autumnal, I have this Holiday Spells sock set from Pixie Yarns. And I mean, it's got pinks and greens and all sorts in it. Very fun. And then I think, how many is that? She says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I have kind of some alternatives in the bottom of here. I have got this Silent Night from West Yorkshire Spinners, which is super sparkly. I thought that would be really nice to do in November so that I've got some new sparkly Christmassy socks. And then I have got a few different ones then that I thought, you know, I can just do whenever. Or if I don't feel like knitting what I picked out. I have this, which is Knit Cosmic Strings in Shoreditch. And I thought this might be quite a nice kind of Christmassy one actually, with these minis as a contrast. I also have a Craft House Magic Over the Rainbow, and that's obviously a shorty sock set really because it's only a 50 gram. But that's going to make rainbows. I thought that'd be perfect for the rainbow along. And I picked out Hedgerow Yarns as well, super sparkly in Glacial. So, and then there's just a couple of others here that I'm kind of keeping to one side. So those are kind of what I was thinking of doing sock wise and doing for the rainbow along. I thought it's just really nice having them set aside, knowing that they're going to be socks, knowing that there's a plan for them, other than just being squished and admired and loved. Oh, on that note, I do have some yarn which I love it, I like it, but I know that I'm not going to knit it or crochet it. So I have going to have a bit of a de-stash. I'm not sure where the best place to do it is, so if you can give me any advice on that, I'd really appreciate that in the comments. I don't know whether to do it on Ravelry, if there's any groups on Facebook, or you know, wherever. So if you can just give, if you've got an idea and you know that, right, there is a really good place to reach lots of people or whatever, that would really help. So thank you in advance. So I have those. And then these are going to be Christmas socks at some point. I know I showed you this last time, the Stranded Dye Works gingerbread house. Super pretty. And then I've got some self-striping as well. Oh, I like yarn. And I like colours. It's very, very fun. So yes, so there we go. So that is my kind of 2021 plans. And as to where I'm going to keep track, I received this from Filofax last week. It is a clip book in a personal size. And I won basically Filofax for life last year at PlanetCon Europe. And I basically they send me something every year, which is lovely for the rest of my life. Anyway, it came with lots of different inserts and things, and I just thought for the size of it, and it folds back on itself, it's perfect for just tucking in my whip basket and just having for reference, especially for charts and things, because yeah, it has some graph paper. I popped in just some loose inserts that I had left over from Cocoa Daisy, and I also then, I've started a list of my works in progress, and I also started like lists for my things that I'm going to make next year, and then I've left in like graph paper and just checklist paper as well. And I figured that that's nice and small, and it would also just fit in a project bag as well. So I'm going to use that to keep notes for my projects, and I'll put like pattern notes in as well, you know, like my favourite heel or my favourite toe, which is a really funny thing to have a favourite of, but you know what I mean. So I'm going to spend some time in between now and New Year setting that up and just listing down the yarns that I want to use and figuring out as well, I think, kind of where I'll need to be and to keep on track with that kind of goal of making 12 pairs of socks next year and 4 blankets. Yeah, it's a big goal, isn't it? So there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed that little catch up with me. Maybe I've given you some ideas. I would love to know what's on your needles at the moment, what's on your hook, what are you making, what are you working on? And also, if you've got plans for 2020 for your crafting, what are you planning to make next year? What's got you excited? Until next time, lovely people, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye for now.